So, welcome to the first episode of the Behind the Playlist podcast. Jess, I'm really excited to have you on as our first guest ever. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm nervous, but I'm very excited to be here. Thank
How
you
was
so
the
much.
Andy C gig?
It was good. It was good. It
Oh,
was such an honor to be on the same lineup as Andy C and Serum. Like, that's just crazy to me. I don't understand how I scored that one, but yeah, it was really good. Such an honor to do that.
What's your background with DJing? How did you really get into it?
Well, I got my first sticks when I was 17 years old. I loved electronic music ever since I was like probably 11 or 12. And then in like high school, I started going to house parties, and you'd see like the guys on their little, those Newmark like Party Pro decks.
Oh, those old decks.
Yeah, and I was like, those guys are fucking cool. I want to be like them. And so saved up, got some decks, and it was like right before we went into lockdown. And so that gave me so much time to practice and actually figure out what I was doing. So that was perfect timing. And then after lockdown ended, turned 18, could finally go out. And then I got my first gig, and it's kind of been nonstop since, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was your first gig like?
It was at Impala.
Oh, Impala. I remember Impala. It's now the mothership, isn't it?
Yeah. Now the mothership. It was on a Wednesday night, so it was like a student night. And for some reason, I had like a really good set time. I think I played like 1 till 2, so it was like rammed. There were so many people there, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I could not DJ at that point, but thank God that, Ben Shaw and Charlie Spicer, they were there. They came with me, and I got up there, played like maybe 5 songs, and I was like, right, that was all I had prepared, and I didn't know what to do, so they like jumped on and saved my life. I think if they weren't there,
Sorry, I just switched that off.
if they weren't there, it probably would have gone terribly, and I would be traumatized and never played a gig again. So thank you, Charlie and Ben, for saving my life.
So, what would you say your most memorable performance is to date?
The first one that comes to mind, I think, would have been the R&B Just Gone.
Oh, yeah. How was R&B?
It was so good. So
I
good.
can't say the same about Northern, eh?
Oh, the rain, right?
Oh, the rain was horrible.
Oh,
it really
gosh.
was.
It rained a little bit at R&B, but like nothing is near as bad as what it would have been in Northern, I think. Yeah, that's definitely my most memorable one, I think, because I feel like playing a festival when you're a DJ in New Zealand is like very rare. Like, it's only something you do like once a year, and you get like one festival booking, so you have to like make the most of it, right? So it was very, very good. Had a big crowd. The set that I played as well was like, I loved every tune in there. Every blend was like some of my favorite stuff from throughout the year I just put in there. So I loved everything in my set, and I practiced it so many times that I was so comfortable I could like do it with my eyes closed, which I think made a massive difference, because I wasn't stressed when I was on stage. Like, I wasn't like, oh my God, am I going to miss this transition? Like, what song's next? I could just do it, and that made me really relax and just like enjoy the time that I was up there rather than stressing. So yeah, it was great. You can tell in the videos and the photos and stuff as well. Like, I was just having the best time. So yeah.
You played quite a few festivals now, haven't you?
Yeah, I did R&B, the Just Gone, the one before that. I was booked to play Bay Dreams twice, but the first time it got cancelled because of COVID. And then the second time, on the day that I was meant to play, I woke up and I had COVID. So I couldn't play. But I did Mardi Gras as well. That was amazing. That's also one of my favorite gigs I've played, I think. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, yeah. But you recently made the move over to Australia to expand, or what was with the move to Australia?
Yeah, so my partner Max, you probably know Briggsy. Yeah, we moved to Perth in May last year. It wasn't really like motivated by music, the move. It was kind of like a more lifestyle thing, because Max works in the mines and like doing FIFO, and like Perth is the place to be for that. So that's kind of why we went there. It wasn't really about, like expanding our music careers and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely a more personal choice, but There are a few artists that we know over there, you know, like Echo and Sidetrack, Shock One. They all live there, so we're like, surely it can't be that bad for DMB as well if, you know, those guys
Is
are
the
over
DMB scene there any good?
I can't say much because when I was there, I wasn't really like going out or like trying to get gigs and stuff. There are a few like local promoters though who put on like weekly drum and bass events and stuff, but I never really like put myself in the scene over there. I was kind of distracted with other things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it like living in Australia? You know, I mean, it's quite a big move, obviously, going overseas with your partner. I can imagine it may have been a little bit stressful.
Yes, it was very stressful indeed. So we were in Perth and I'd never been there before we moved. And I'd been to like Melbourne and Sydney and stuff. So my idea of Australia was like, you know, big cities, really exciting. And that is not the case in Perth. It's like very spread out. Like there's like the city, but it's not like Sydney or Melbourne, you know, it's kind of boring.
Really?
Should I say? Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah. And like, especially because I had no friends, no family or anyone over there, it was kind of just me and Max. And then when he was away working, I was like completely alone. So it was not a fun time for me. It was very stressful. It was my first time leaving home as well. So I was kind of like thrown in the deep end, you know, like trying to find a place to live, trying to find a new job, trying to find a car, essentially alone. So
what do you actually do for full-time work outside of DJing?
I am a body piercer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I poke holes in people.
That's a good way of explaining it, I suppose.
It's a very weird job. I did that full time for like 2 years, I think, but I've just started university. So yeah, that's my full-time gig at the moment.
Oh yeah. What are you studying?
I'm studying psychology and philosophy.
Ah, that's really cool.
Yeah, very interesting. Very strange, like, contrast from DJing and body piercing, I think. Like, it's quite nerdy. Yeah.
Oh, I suppose so.
Yeah.
But then with the move back to New Zealand, what is there a tipping point there, I suppose? Like,
Yeah, so like I was saying, it was very stressful. I have quite a history with like bad mental health, and so going to Australia and being put in that situation definitely tested my limits, so to speak. It was like every day that I was there, it was like there was this cloud of like dread or like uncertainty and anxiousness like that just followed me around everywhere. And even when I got a job, when I moved into a flat, like that feeling wouldn't really go away. And especially being alone, not having Max there, it was 10 times harder. And like I missed home so much. So yeah, we got to a point where my family was like, "You're coming home," because I couldn't make that decision myself. Like they literally forced me on the plane, but thank God they did, because I'm so much better off now that I'm home.
oh, well, I'm really sorry to hear about that.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I think a lot of New Zealand was quite upset when they heard the news that Jess Rhodes is moving to Perth. I think so.
Thank
honestly.
God I'm back, right?
honestly. But it's no, it's really good to hear that you're back, honestly, especially with all the upcoming shows and such. It's been quite fun, I can assume.
Yeah, definitely. It's been good coming back. I feel like I learned a lot when I was over there, and coming back, like even doing that. I don't know if you've seen that fundraiser that I did.
Yes, the DMB for mental health.
Yeah,
I remember I was there that night. It was a really good night, that one.
Thank you. Yeah, so it wasn't all bad, you know, like
And how much was raised out of that? I think $3,000.
So on the night we did like $5 short of $3,000 or something from people donating, and then because I was donating all my set fees as well, and so I think the grand total at the end was like 5,700, I think.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is really insane. You know?
I'm so stoked. It feels good to like turn my own little struggle into something that a lot of people connected with and could get amongst, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Oh, that's really cool, honestly. Would you say you have like a favorite subgenre of drum and bass in particular?
Dance floor,
Dance floor.
definitely.
Oh, who doesn't love dance floor? Honestly? Dance floor is really fun.
I get insecure because I think that people probably think it's like overplayed and like boring, especially now with like jump up being the main.
I feel like
thing in the
jump up
scene.
has definitely gotten
I know.
really insane over the last few years as well.
And it's like, it's kind of scary. Like a couple of weekends ago, I was playing right before Crossy, who, you know, is like quite heavy and like plays jump up and stuff. And I was like playing like the most melodic, pretty like dance floor set. I'm like, oh my God, this is quite the contrast, but I'm not going to not play what I want to play, you know? So
I feel like a lot of people, they kind of get scared of like playing what they want to play.
That was me for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I first started, and like I think you kind of have to do that sometimes though. Like when I first started, I was playing like lots of opening sets or lots of like closing sets, so like late in the night or early. And you can't, like, if you want to play jump up, you can't really do that at like 10 p.m, you know? So sometimes you're going to have to play something you don't want to play just to fit like the quota, and that's fine. Like now I'm in a position where I can play whatever I want, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite memory out of town, like your most favorite set you've ever, or like most memorable night? I'd say rather.
I think probably the fundraiser gig that I did.
Oh,
Yeah. It was, I feel like when there's a cause behind it, you know, like everyone was there to support mental health, and it felt like a lot of people were there to support me as well. And like when you put that, all those gooey feelings into a set, like it means so much more than just like a random Saturday in town, you know. It was very meaningful, I think. So yeah, that's probably my favorite like club set, I think. Yeah.
It was a really good night that night.
Yeah.
I will say.
And like
really
all the
had
other
fun.
DJs like had the best time ever, which made me so happy as well.
Yeah. That's really awesome. That's really awesome to hear. Aside from DJing, do you actually have any other hobbies? Oh, that sounds a bit rude. Sorry. I'll
Do you do anything else?
Yeah. Do you do anything else?
You
apart from
loser. Well, I go to the gym. I love anything like health and wellness. I'm obviously studying now, like I mentioned earlier, so that takes up a lot of my time. Yeah, anything, hanging out with this one, hanging out with Max, baking. I love baking.
DJing? Oh, really? What do you like to bake?
I make the best chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, and you didn't bring any?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I should have actually.
I'm really heartbroken right there, honestly.
Next time.
Absolutely. Do you feel like the D&B scene has changed a lot throughout the years in New Zealand?
I think this goes back to what we were saying earlier about like jump up being very big in the scene right now. That's probably like the most obvious change to me. It wasn't that big of a thing when I started DJing. Yeah, that's all I can really think of, I think, has been the main shift.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you have any other projects coming up?
Not at the moment. I'm trying to think of something I can do, because like obviously I did that fundraiser and I would love to do something similar to that. Yeah, but it's hard because I love DJing and I love music and everything, but like long term I know that I need to focus on like my studying and stuff. And so it's going to be a little bit tricky to balance the two things. So I don't want to like commit myself to a bunch of gigs and stuff when I know that I need to put my eggs in another basket. But I'm just taking it as it comes. Hopefully I get to have another big summer this year. That would be great.
Can we catch Jess Rhodes at Mardi Gras this year?
No, I don't think so. Not yet, but who knows? Anything could happen, right? But yeah, hopefully some stuff over the summer. That would be great. Those are my favorite ones to do. So yeah, I'd be stoked to do that.
There's a lot of people in the D&B scene that actually really look up to you. I mean, they see that, you know, you're a really talented DJ and everything. What would you say to them that where they're at that stage, you know, oh, I'm not sure where to go. What do I do from here?
Well, I think that for me, it's always been like, if you want something bad enough and you love something so much, you're going to succeed. Like that's the formula. Like don't give up. Keep doing what you love. Don't listen to anyone who tells you it's not good enough or like, you know, like what are you doing with your life? Just if you love something, keep doing it. Yeah, that's probably my advice. I think you can't really go wrong if you apply yourself and you work hard and don't give up. It's the most cliche advice ever, but it's very true, I think. Yeah. And I think at the moment there's like so many DJs. And so you kind of have to...
There's definitely a lot after your shot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you kind of have to find something, or like find a way to set yourself apart from everyone else, I think. That's probably a big one if you're wanting to get booked, because, you know, when a promoter's booking a show, they have the pool of DJs they can choose from is massive. So yeah, find something that sets yourself apart. Put yourself out there, like post mixes online, post TikToks, Instagram reels, all that jazz. Yeah, and just make sure you love what you do. It's definitely a big one.
Oh.
Yeah,
Absolutely. There's a bit of a controversial take to or to not use the sync button.
use it.
Use it?
I think if like the technology's there, right? Because and like I use it all the time. I will admit that, no shame, because it's so helpful. It's so helpful. Like if I'm mixing on 4Dex and I'm trying to do like a really quick transition or something, and I don't want to worry about beat matching and I want everything to sound perfect, just press the little button and it takes a massive weight off my shoulders. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know it's quite a controversial topic for a few people. I know a lot of people I've spoken to, they're like, oh, don't use the sync button. You got to play it originally.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that if you want, but also if you need help, get help. Use it. Press the button. No shame. No shame.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of people look up to you in the DMB scene. Who would you say you really looked up to when, you know, starting out?
That's a tricky one, because I feel like I never really had like a singular idol or like someone I looked up to a lot. Like obviously there's artists that I like and whose music I play often, but there's never been someone where I'm like, I want to be like you, like you're my idol. I've more been inspired by kind of like my own potential and like thinking of the things that I want to do and where I want to go. Like that's what drove me to be better, I think, rather than looking at someone else. I was kind of more focused on the things that I need to do, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a particular goal for this year by chance? Like a specific show or anything
scared to say it, because if I put it out to the world and I don't get it, I feel like I'll be a bit embarrassed. But I would love to play Northern Bass.
Northern Bass.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't rain when you play though.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That's like, I feel like it's such a compliment to get booked for Northern Bass. Like that would be so reassuring to me that I'm like actually a good DJ. Like I have a lot of imposter syndrome and like I really doubt my abilities sometimes, but I think if I get booked by Northern Bass, I'll be like, yeah, okay, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought, you know.
Mama made it.
Yeah, literally, that would be a big compliment, I think. Yeah.
Speaking about your parents, how do they feel about this, or about all, you know, you being a big fancy DJ and everything?
They're so cute. They're so supportive. Like my stepdad has come to a few of my shows.
That's awesome.
Like he's been like right in the front at pointers. I actually had someone, I think, yeah, I was at the gig with my stepdad like before I was playing, and we like went in like little mosh for a dance, and this girl was like, do you know him? Like, are you okay? I'm like, that's my dad. And she's like, oh, okay. Like she thought he was like some creep or something. I'm like, no, that's just my dad. Like we're just having a good time. Yeah, he's so fun. He gets amongst it. I brought my like whole family to one of my gigs once, which was so cute. It was at Shed 10 as well, and so like with a bigger gig like that, like sometimes they'll give you like your own little green room. So like I have this little like cordoned off area with like my name on the door and like all my snacks in my little mini fridge, and I was like, come into my green room, guys, and there's like all my food, and they're like, whoa, like this is so fancy. But yeah, they think it's cool. I think my mum always does those like little Facebook posts like bragging to her friends, like, look at Jess playing at Rhythm and Vines. Like, you know, when your mum brags about you on Facebook, you know you're doing a good job.
Absolutely. Oh, that's really cool. Jess, it's been really awesome to have you on the podcast. I really do appreciate that. You can check us out on YouTube and SoundCloud as well, and also check out Jess Rhodes. She'll be linked down below. But yeah, thank you very much for having us.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It's been great.